finished my painting. I don't know which way it goes, but I really like it. I can't wait to see what you do. Let's finish them.
Hello, my talented artists. First thing I want you to do is look at your Zinnia or your Zinnia painting, and I want you to find if you have drawn any of these little tiny yellow flowers. This one has a whole ring. This one just has two. And I also want you to look at what other color the center is. This one looks like the center is an orangey color, and it even has a little green on the edge. This center looks kind of like a dark magenta. If you have any of these little yellow flowers in your center, you're going to paint them. Today, we are going to control our painting by not using as much water. So I'm going to dip my brush and press out a few drops of water. I don't want too much water this time. If I use a little bit less water than I used before, I will have a less drippy brush and I will be able to place my paint more specifically. Make sure that you wipe your brush before you use the paint. And I am going to carefully aim using a small brush to paint in any of these little yellow flowers. All the zinnias, if they have those little flowers, they are always yellow. But the center is not always yellow or orange. The centers can vary. Paint those little flowers, and now we're gonna let this center dry, and we're gonna come back to this last. Now we're going to look at our background. I want you to pick a color that is significantly different from your flower color. When there are two things put next to each other that are very different, we say that they contrast. So I want you to look for a contrasting color. This is the color wheel. And if we look at the color wheel, we can find contrasting colors. If we look at the color orange, the colors next to orange harmonize. They don't contrast. So if my flower is orange and I want to pick a contrasting color, I'm going to look at the colors that are not right next to orange. Look at the color wheel. What colors are not next to orange? Raise your hand. Good work, detectives. Green, blue, and purple are not next to orange. If you want your background to be the highest level of contrast with your flower, then you will pick the color that is directly opposite it on the color wheel. Those color pairs are called complementary colors. My zinnia is orange. Directly across from orange is, call it out. That's right, blue. Blue and orange are complementary colors. You do not need to use a complementary color, but as we just learned, blue is the complement of orange. Blue is not next to orange on the color wheel, so I am going to use blue. When I paint, I'm going to go right to the edge of my shape, all the way around, and then I'm going to finish that shape. Uh-oh. Be careful not to smear your little flowers. You can avoid putting your hand on the center by turning your painting as you paint each little section, and make sure that your hand is not on top of the center that you painted. Continue to carefully paint each shape of the background. The goal is to cover all the white of the paper. once you've painted your whole background, always remember to wash your brush gently by sweeping it at the bottom of your bowl. And now I'm gonna look at this pink flower, and I see that the center is also a shade of pink. So that is what I'm going to do in my center. You can decide what color you want to paint your center. We're gonna go back to the center. I'm gonna use magenta. I'm gonna carry over a few drops. You want to go around these little yellow flowers that you painted. So you really have to aim when you pick different colors that contrast. It really grabs the viewer's eye. People are drawn to those artworks that create contrast. Those little Y shapes are also pink, so I can just paint the whole thing. This is gonna be a lot easier. I can paint over that, but not over my little yellow parts. So anything that's not yellow, I'm just gonna paint right over, and I'm going to have a magenta center. I might need a little more water, but I don't wanna put too much water in because I don't want it to be too drippy. I think I've covered all of my beautiful painting. I can't wait to see what you do.